positive for me because I used my umbrella against the sun for the first time.
Oh,
Wow.
Yes. You're all like all those Lala Lajpat Rai College students who wait across the road. Dude, I just passed them by today on the road and I screamed at them also.
Like an uncle.
I always scream at if I see Lala Lajpat Rai students on Haji. If you're a Lala Lajpat Rai student and you are on a Haji Ali ka rasta at any point and you see me in the car, I will be like, "Hey, Lala Lajpat Rai!" and just drive off. It's really fun to do. Hey, it's Varta with Navin, me, and Punit. You've heard him on other stuff. You know what he sounds like. This is us.
Yeah.
Episode has started. Guess
He's
what? Boom.
Poopa.
Poopa?
Punit Panya is
This is
Pupa.
worse than Raga also.
Poopa is cute. Like you're a caterpillar now, kind of like manifesting into a butterfly. How's it been, Punit? How's life?
I'm touring like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
No
Oh,
complaints.
shit, yeah. I missed that part of. I've not done proper comedy in a while, and it really after a while it's just. You know
I
what I'm
can't
saying?
wait, dude. I can't wait to get back on tour. Like, I'm going back on tour on the 16th or 13th or something of September. It's going to be so much fucking fun. And this time I'm driving all over Gujarat
Ah, nice.
because it's very expensive otherwise.
Is it?
Yeah, because now Shubha is coming with
Yeah,
this,
makes
this
perfect
trip
sense.
because she
yeah.
wants to go back to her hometown of the Reliance colony in Jamnagar. so so I looked up flights and all, and I was like, ये दो जन का return and all
No,
नहीं परवड़ेगा.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
तो मैं
Even
उसको-
time-wise.
yeah.
And you can see Statue of Unity on the way.
That's the plan.
Yes.
That's the plan. I've actually been to the Sardar Sarovar Dam
Okay.
before the Statue of Unity.
Before we were united by
Yeah.
BJP.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Earlier we
and
were separate and we were like looking at it from different
Yeah.
angles.
when it
POVs
was
were different.
just the thing, and we went into the dam, and dude, like it's like wow, like
Damn.
dude, yeah,
Damn,
because
wow.
it's these giant turbines, right? Like those Mitsubishi massive fucking turbines.
Mm.
And you can see the water when they release it and all. Oh man,
You
they
can
said,
see all that.
yeah, like it's almost the majesty of seeing nature, but by people. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you see mountains and you're like wow, and you see these Mitsubishi ka bencho 6 male lamba turbine ka wo pura engine, and you're like
Yeah.
wow. Like,
I
Are
get
there
it, I
couple
get it.
cruises in Sardar Sarovar Dam also?
they have a fountain. It used to be Asia's tallest fountain, but nobody would see it because it was in the
Such
reservoir.
a dick waving competition.
Always.
Tallest, longest, strongest.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. It's a matter of time before thickest becomes acceptable.
Yeah.
Someone sent me a pic of the statue, which is like him looking up at the statue.
Okay.
And the toes are so big, you can't make out kya hai ye. And then before you pass any judgments,
Yeah. You can't pass any judgments.
I went to the statue of equality though in Hyderabad.
Oh wow. What is the statue? Is this the one with no, the Garud is in Kerala. Shiv is also in Kerala.
Yeah,
What is the Unity one?
it's a saint from 1,000 years back
Okay.
who preached equality in some way.
Okay.
So, but a good concept. It's a huge statue, golden statue, and there were 108 temples around it,
Right.
which are all the biggest Vishnu temples because they're Vaishnavites. So
Right.
all Vishnu temples from across the country, miniature versions of it.
Nice.
And each temple is an assigned priest, so there's a huge like cost and everything
Of
behind.
course.
It's a huge operation. And if you see from the top, all the 108 temples have the different gopurams. Like each temple has its
Right.
signature
Ah.
dome, right?
Yeah.
So from the top you can see 108 different styles.
That's quite beautiful, man.
Yeah.
That must look damn good.
Yeah.
It's
And
like, so is this religious tourism? Like, I mean, if a white person is coming, is this on their list?
yeah,
you
it's
know?
an amusement park.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a religious amusement park.
Yeah. I even when I was in Hampi, I was observing them. Like when you're in a temple, like Vittala temple or
Yeah.
Virupaksha temple, like you'll find them like by their own, doing their own thing. Like some of them also like for them, I think I've noticed there's an adventure aspect of it and the religious aspect of it.
Right.
Like they're doing bouldering, they're doing rivers and all that. And
Right.
also at the same time, they're like, okay, let me just wear those loose kurtas. Let me wear those chant wala malas. I don't know what it means, but here I am, like kind of participating. There's a red tika on my head.
Yeah.
Goes nice with the contrast of the white,
Yeah.
and pink, So it's cute. So they're pretty much oblivious unless like you meet someone who's really read up and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I met a guy who was really into art, like Vedic art. So this guy was like, I come to India and I don't see anything but the temples and the mosques and the churches because it's just like seeing the art and how the art mixes with the art and all that shit. So this guy,
Yeah.
that's a fun trip if you want to, if you understand what you're seeing. I don't understand only what I'm just like, wow, wow.
Yeah,
This
when I was in
arc.
Kolkata, I had met this guy who was staying in the same hostel as me, a guy from Hong Kong. And like every day he would vanish in the morning, and he pretty much wore the same clothes. Like he wore this grey, like the one that Steve Irving would wear kind of clothes,
Right.
and one like brown shorts or whatever. And he would vanish and come back in the evenings only, and have a book, and he would be scribbling on it and all. And of course, if you're in a hostel environment, you're like, okay, what's your trade? What's your trade?
Yeah.
I'm putting up like my flyers on the common hostel board. Ki, like, ye mera show. People know. So we were like doing the entire exchange, and this guy was telling me about like why he came to Kolkata in the first place. There's an entire Chinese sanctuary, like a cemetery,
Right.
which is now like very old. Okay,
Yeah.
like for soldiers who then fought in the war or whatever.
In Kolkata, right?
In Kolkata.
That's the British cemetery.
Yeah. But there's like a lot of these Hong Kong soldiers who are also buried over there.
Right.
And the caretaker of the place is from Hong Kong. Like he's 3 generations of Chinese people have taken care of
Is
it.
this the Park Street Cemetery or another one?
Another one.
Another one,
There's a bigger, denser one apparently.
Mm.
So I had fucking no idea, man, about this unless somebody from
Yeah.
a different country tells me about this. So he
Yeah.
was very, of course, attached to the idea of like what this guy's history is like, where he comes from,
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
he's here, and why is he like 3 generations of them are caretakers of the cemetery.
Yeah.
Why does it have so much
अपना
value?
लोग को मालूम ही नहीं, only the youngsters are going to make out there.
Yeah. But that's always that's a lot of things, like, right, like, and I used to think this is exclusively India, but it's everywhere. Like I remember there's this one couple of Portuguese musicians I'm a huge fan of. Okay, Brazilian Portuguese में गाते हैं, Brazilian लोग हैं. और मैं उनका बहुत बड़ा fan है. Every time I meet someone from Brazil and I'm like, hey, have you heard of these guys? They have no fucking clue who I'm talking about. Same with England. Like so many bands that I love from England. Bell and Sebastian, such a great English band.
ये सब तू कभी सुनता है?
मैं बहुत सुनता है यार म्यूजिक, बचपन से मैं
Yeah.
सुनता है
नहीं,
म्यूजिक.
पर टाइम किधर है? तू ये कर रहा है, तू शोज का शादी भी कर रहा है तू.
तो बीच बीच में गाना सुनने को ना एक दो
Yeah.
हटते वक्त क्या करेगा आदमी?
Optimum time is like that entire journey from your house to landing somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's like 4 hours, 5 hours of your life. You can just go around discovering as much
Yeah,
music.
it's just on your own.
Yeah, download stuff, all of that.
But what's worse now because of the Spotify is that you're listening to एक दो गाने सबके. Like whereas earlier I would like one song of an artist and straight up download the discography on torrents.
Yeah.
And then just like dive in कि like oh ho इसने 75 में live show में क्या किया था कैलकाटा में. Oh.
Yeah.
You know, you just
I've
get
never been
into
one
it.
of those. Like, people have always asked me like, what's your favorite artist का favorite album, and I've never been able to give a definite answer.
Right.
मतलब एक दो गाने अच्छे रहते हैं उनके. मतलब you don't have to like everything. Like,
Yeah.
certain case, for example, like now Daft Punk,
Yeah.
the Fragments of Time वाला album. What is that?
Yeah.
You know the album?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
The one with Alive and all.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So that entire discography is like great. I
Yeah.
listen to the entire thing.
Yeah.
So the entire thing is downloaded for me. But like Life of Pablo, Kanye, it's like he's
That whole
planned,
album,
yeah,
yeah.
he's planned his entire thing
Yeah.
like that. It's sonorous, it's whatever. But now, like, if you ask me to listen to some like Sophie Tucker, उनका 2 गाना अच्छा लगता है मेरे को.
हाँ.
So why would I listen to all of their
उनको
songs?
आता भी उतना ही है तो.
हाँ.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of albums, right? Like a lot of songs. Like, but I also
But the
feel like
new ones are now planned in reels, no? So
Yeah, they're
songs,
planned in
songs
reels.
are what they're
Dude,
commissioned
so I'm
to be
so
1
sad
minute.
right
Yeah.
now because Elton John and Britney Spears are collaborating. Okay, like 2 of my favorite gay icons
Yeah.
doing like a Tiny Dancer ka new version.
Oh,
Because-
nice.
And it's pretty much like Elton John is doing this Goodbye Yellow Road tour because he knows he's gonna fucking die soon.
Yeah.
And that's like his final hurrah. It's
Yeah.
it's a very like in the industry. Like he showed up at some bar randomly yesterday, and he's sitting on a chair and singing, doing this and all. It's very cute. But all of this just to promote the song on TikTok or Reels.
Right.
Right, because they're like, oh, now you saw this song releasing, the real version coming out on Instagram. They're doing this, and TikTok they're doing a real version coming out on 26th August or whatever.
God.
So it kind of like breaks my heart that he does not need this. He wrote fucking Crocodile Rock. He wrote like such great songs.
Yeah,
he does not
wrote
need
fucking
this.
Rocket Man. dude.
Rocket
Like,
Man, he wrote Tiny Dancer. He doesn't need this.
Yeah.
But the album industry is so warped right now with like trying to make music only for like 15 seconds or 30 seconds ka
Yeah.
chorus. That's what's happening.
Even we got in there in comedy.
Yeah.
We have. That's a
People
sad
used
part.
to earlier write jokes कि ये ऐसा जोक होगा, इसका ये पंचलाइन है और ये इसका टाइटल में आएगा यूट्यूब पे,
Yeah.
उसका मैं टी शर्ट बेचेगा, ऐसा आइडिया होता था. अभी रील लेवल पे है.
Imagine a
ये-
Stuart Lee trying to make a reel, dude. Like उसका
Yeah.
concept इतना intense होता है. By the 9th minute you get the punchline
Yeah.
of what he's setting up, but it's worth it.
But I think it's fine. Like I feel like it's each one has its like creates its own audience, right? Like I know so many comedians in the States, like what's that something Patel, and then there's Aakash Singh and all these guys. They all fucking made it on TikTok only.
Nimesh Patel.
Nimesh Patel, and these guys all made it on TikTok, and when they do the live show, they still do an hour, right? Like they're touring comics who've sort of adopted this thing.
Well,
I'll
see,
tell you
when
who'll suffer.
Once screaming fans come in, then you can get by. You've seen it in India also. You may or may not have material. It's like you're crowd surfing for that 1 hour.
Hmm.
आप क्या करते हो बहन जी, आप क्या करते हो? आप इसके साथ आए, आप उसके साथ आए, हो गया 1 घंटा, जाओ घर पे.
Subtle shade at other comics. I love it.
So you will find out eventually if
Yeah.
Aakash Singh is actually that good or not. अभी तो चल
Yeah,
रहा
he
है.
created a lot of like polarity when he said he's okay with the Apu character on
Yeah.
but
Bring
like
back Apu.
Kandu Bulu is like, oh, this is my childhood, मैं bully हुआ ये वो.
हाँ.
It's like, but it's okay. There was representation at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. You also got following. I also got following.
Yeah. तेरा नहीं मेरा नहीं चलो. और अपू कैरेक्टर खत्म हो गया वैसे
खत्म
भी
हो गया
सिम्पसन
वैसे,
से, so it's
हाँ.
okay.
तो चलता ही है. But that's a good thing
बेचारा
about
हैंग
it.
कजर रहेगा, काम चला गया.
But that's one good thing about comedy that we're also cynical. Right? तो हम लोग को इतना बुरा नहीं लगता है जब कुछ ऐसा devastating चीज हो. Like my musician friends are way more depressed right now. My musician friends are like, हम कैसे survive करेंगे? I'm like, कुछ नहीं है, लौड़ा है सब, करो ना यार. क्या फर्क पड़ता है?
सब लौड़ा ही है. बाकी जो बच गया वो लहसुन है. और क्या?
बस.
Wow, this is a good name for a tour. ना सब लौड़ा है tour. Coming experience.
People still think the wedding show is a show about my wedding.
तो ऐसा नहीं है क्या?
It's not a show. Why would I do a show
But you
about
had
my
a
wedding
show.
immediately?
That was the previous.
Yeah.
Ah.
So there's gonna be wedding show part 2 for sure. But like right now it's part 1 only. I mean, nice. I don't mind. I think on some level na, it's like the chaos that we exist in is good because it takes away the noise of a civilization collapsing. You know what I mean? like otherwise every day we would be stressed out at how slowly humanity is falling apart. But
Yeah.
right now it's like, hey, wow, real the puppy, and it's like cool.
Exactly. Like whenever I start worrying about, like, you know, there'll be some video, for example, where it's like, oh, this is what's happening. By the next year, some penguin will be extinct or something will be going crazy. I'm like, gone for that. But like, hey, there's a new season of Game of Thrones adjacent show, or Lord of the Rings is coming back. New Zealand tourism की माँ की चुत. वहाँ पे मरने दे सीगल तो ये देख. That's what the whole point is.
Hey, Punit,
I read a tweet yesterday which said that every time I refresh my feed, the world becomes a shittier place.
It's true, yeah.
You go to, I was going to ask, you travel a lot more than the rest of us when it comes to touring.
Yeah.
Like, no, he's the one guy जो सब म्यूजियम जाएगा फिर इधर जाएगा.
Yeah, I was talking to him about the same thing. That like हम जाते, हम लोगों के होटल में रूम है, यहाँ पे ये फूकना है वो फूकना है, ये लोग से मिलने का, ये खाना खाने का, and then come back.
Yeah.
But you go in for the experience. You enrich yourself.
Yeah. I mean,
Explain yourself.
as somebody who does it but not in India, like I'm fascinated because India, it gets very depressing very quickly.
No, dude, India is huge, dude. And I think India is as big as the world sometimes, I feel. Because I've seen it so many times over and over because my job involved traveling also and now stand-up. And I still find something new in the same city.
True.
If you look hard enough.
Yeah.
So it's about having an eye for it and just being interested. Sometimes I have a few hours left in a city where I've been like 50 times before. I will still not sit in the room and do my social media. I'll go out and just take a walk in the mohalla because it's still a different mohalla. It's still different people, different fonts, different smells.
Yeah.
I like that. So
I just feel that the museums are very depressing. Like I'm similar to you in that sense. Like when I went to Dehradun, I went to the whole forest museum and all that. India में क्या ना museum में क्या होता है ना, एक ऐसा चीज है और नीचे sign है कि ये चीज है, खत्म. There's no context. There's no before after.
I did a whole piece on that it is depressing if you're a museum lover in this country because we have so much.
Yeah.
It's like we're spoiled for choice. You go to Europe, no, एक बुक है 100 साल पुराना, इसमें कोई सेठ ने साइन किया है.
वो भी अपना जो बचा कुचा है म्यूजियम में वो, हाँ, उसके बाद लेके गए उसका
वो लोग रखा है टेम्परेचर कंट्रोल चैम्बर के अंदर. और इधर 1000 साल पुराना मूर्ति सड़ रहा है ऐसा कंपाउंड में. ऊपर कोई गवर्नमेंट ने ऑयल पेंट से लिखा है, उसका नंबर लिख दिया है कैटलॉगिंग के लिए.
It's like this is a copper statue. Currently, it's a bronze statue, but it used to be copper statue during this empire.
This always happens in Hyderabad in that Birla wala venue that they have, the Birla Science. They have an auditorium. So twice I've done show there, and it's like ऐसा literally 3000 BC का statue है. Okay? और वो उधर पड़ा है और उसके ऊपर एक बंदा ऐसा कंधा लगा के बस वेट कर रहा है कि इसका कॉमेडी कब शो स्टार्ट कब होएगा. And I'm like, dude, like that is way more interesting.
So some
than
museums, the new ones are very good.
Yeah.
We are approaching world-class standards. In some
Where
of
are
the
the new
museums.
ones?
So Partition Museum, Amritsar, everybody should go there. Should be like part of the law. Should fucking go there and see.
Yeah, so make it illegal to go to Jallianwala Bagh. Because there's nothing in Jallianwala Bagh, honestly. It is apart from like reinforced trauma from all those years ago and bullet holes that are in the wall.
So they've kept it that way on purpose to make it look stark. But now,
there's homelessness max. in Amritsar, and a lot of people sleep inside Jallianwala Bagh. So
But Jallianwala Bagh was being renovated, right? I thought
They
the
did
whole-
no, so and because this government is event management company also.
dude, that reminds me, like when we were at Vittala temple only, we were walking out from the, so we did an entire trek and everything, and
Yeah.
while I'm walking out, one of the, like, again, as you said, it's a like 500-year-old structure.
Yeah.
Beautiful, the walls and everything. वहाँ पे किसी ने ABV पे लिख के रखा है. I'm like,
Yeah.
कि यार, that's what they do. It's technically just what they're doing.
Yeah, that's
जो बचा कुचा हिस्ट्री है उसपे भी हक के रख देंगे. Fucking hell.
So that museum is good. Delhi Modern Art is a great museum.
That's a great museum.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even I
IISc
enjoyed the
museums
Kolkata one
very-
also. The one with like all the prehistoric animals that were in the Indian subcontinent and all that.
Yeah.
So it's like cute.
So, and then even Mumbai, the museum is great. It's one of the
Yeah,
best.
but वही lack of context वाला museum है अपना वाला.
धूल बहुत है
Then
Bombay
now
में.
what they're doing is they're doing this exchange program with the abroad wala museum, so they have learned some of the techniques.
Yeah. Some of it is great. Sometimes they bring down the stuff. You know,
Yeah,
when they
yeah,
did the whole
traveling
Egyptian.
museum, yeah.
Dude, that Egyptian. Did you see the Egyptian exhibit when it came to? Oh my God, dude. There is like. You feel all the feelings in the world. Like you're scared also. You feel like the fucker will get up out of the fucking sarcophagus. क्या है वो?
Sarcophagus.
So there
Sarcophagus.
is a mummy in the Jaipur Museum, which is great. Again, British built it, and then there's a mummy in the Kolkata India Museum, which is in the Park City.
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
So some of those are so big that it will take an entire day if you're educated.
As it should be.
Otherwise, you will just stroll through and it'll be like, क्या है सब
Yeah.
कबाड़ी का खाना रखा है.
पर ये मेरे साथ हमेशा होता है. मैं कभी भी outside of the country I love going to museums because I'm dumb. I need somebody to explain to me what the fuck is going on. तो उधर वो हमेशा वो रहता है वो tape रहता है.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
wear it and
yeah.
then it like you go number 1, number 2 and it tells
Yeah.
you the context of every
Yeah,
single thing.
yeah.
And every time I go, I end up going with somebody local and somehow we are on the same fucking tape, okay? Exact same tape and somehow उसका बहनचो मेरे से 1 घंटे पहले ही खत्म हो रहा है.
Yeah,
And I'm like, तू कैसे हो? Like it's
Skip.
you don't even there's no skip. There's no skip button. You can't even fast forward it. And I'm like, how do you still manage to finish?
What I like is ring light, no matter how small or big is, this is the issue that happens with everything. Even mine, which is supposed to go in laptop,
Yeah.
उसको 1000 बार ऊपर नीचे करने के बाद ऐसा I have to like yeah, masturbate किया देखो now work motherfucker. Dude, ring lights, cursed.
Have you? Ooh, wow, that was a good burp. Did you guys hear that? Did you catch the burp? Fuck yeah. that was a
We got
great
the
burp.
oop.
Yeah.
Like and
You know when you're in a relationship and you're like in the middle of giving someone kisses and you have a burp in the middle, like do you do the like burp in your mouth and look away and blow out the air
No,
and then what do you do?
I burp in the face and I say sorry preemptively. I
Okay.
think that's the rule for
Depends
relationship.
on
You
how
catch
long
on to
you've
it.
been with the person.
Right.
First 3 months you can't do it. It's just like farting.
Yeah, my ex did this thing once where he farted in the blanket and we were blanket together,
Yeah.
okay? And he looks at me and says sorry, and I'm like, why? And then he lifts up the blanket, and
And
the
the
entire force is fucking hits me like a motherfucker. I'm like, yeah.
That's true
This,
love.
I do a joke about this, right? Like that's true love. True love is when you're spooning and she farts on you in the middle of the night. That's that's true love. You feel this warmth on your crotch and you're like,
Yeah.
wow, you know.
This is what I wanted.
Yeah, tu mere pe paat de. Like that's the ultimate this thing
Yeah.
of love. Like
I
come
have,
on.
I have various ranges of anal sex stories.
Yeah.
For that, tune into my Patreon. But things have happened to me, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't like to. Because there are kids who are listening to our podcast for some reason. So
There are kids listening to our
Yeah,
podcast.
some of them are like 15, 16 types, dude.
Please don't listen to this
Let
podcast.
them listen.
Oh,
Let them
no,
listen.
no,
It's
okay.
okay.
Listen.
I wish someone had told me these things when I was 15,
Yeah,
16. Dude,
so
I would be a
don't-
better person.
Fart on your partner.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you find them.
when you feel, that's the test, you know, कि मैं तेरे पे पादू क्या थोड़ा ऐसा अलग से आके पादने का नहीं, but just in the
And
course
not
of
in
life.
CCD, at home, he's saying.
Yeah.
Or if you're good enough partner, you'll cover that fart in CCD also. You'll find a way. अरे क्या हो गया? And then they fart in that moment. Just create a distraction. Be a better ally in that moment. On that note, we'll take a short break on this episode of Varta Lab. We'll clear our gases and come back for the next half with Punit Panya.
Hello, everybody. It's been another great week on the IVM podcast. Before we get into the rest of promo, I just want to make a quick announcement. Our channel, IVM Likes, is now IVM Pop. We are going to be releasing a number of shows in this channel. Stay tuned for more. On What the Hell Navya, Navya is joined by her mom, Shwetananda, and her grandmother, Jaya Bachchan, as they discuss female friendships. They talk about how their girl best friends empower them and make each day better. On This Round is on me, Gauri is joined by Anant Goenka, Executive Director of the Indian Express Group. He talks about their massive shift from traditional print to digital media. On Pop Rap, formerly known as IVM Likes, Nehil, Antriksh and Pragati take us down memory lane by recollecting memories of some of their favorite live-action shows from their childhood. On Cock and Bull, Cyrus, Abbas and Sparsh talk about live streaming of the Supreme Court hearings, wrestler John Cena's world record, and the increased demands for electronic cars. And on Investverse, Anupam is joined by veteran adman Ambi Parmeshwaran. They talk about how to develop a relationship with money and chalk out a plan for your future. Once again, everybody, I'd like to remind you all to go check out our merch store on ivmpodcast.com. We have new stuff coming out all the time. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on all platforms. And do remember, spread the word about the shows you're listening to. We would also appreciate if you could rate or review this show or any of the other shows that you're listening to, wherever you're listening to. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Volvo XC40 Recharge, Bumble, Heads Up for Tails, and HDFC Mutual Fund. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Welcome back to Varta Lab second half.
Little grim the world is.
Yeah, current India, but as three thinking comics, I would say. Not many of those left either. It's a concern thing because, like, you know, the reason we got into this art form, and I remember even when Punit, before we even met as comics, we met as just people. Because I used to work at Book My Show.
Right.
And Punit used to be at Book My Show events. Not Book My Show events, just events because I was covering them, right?
Yeah.
So I have a very clear memory of meeting him at Mahindra's Blues Festival because he was in the front row and this is a Norwegian band, okay? Like obscure ska band from Norway.
Nice.
And I'm enjoying it and I look and he's there. And but like now things are so different where like when we travel or when we do all of this, it's like we're a little concerned about it.
And it's funny because like my family is like, oh, but why would you want to move out of the country? And I'm like, because I keep getting death threats. And my mom is like, अरे उससे क्या होता है? I'm like, bro, hota hai yaar. Like,
unlike in America where they come and still don't kill you. End it. Don't threaten me. Just fucking finish it.
Don't, but that's what they get off on, right? They get off on the fact that you're afraid.
At least we are not beheading.
They're getting off on the fact that you fear them. They feed on your fear.
And even like I feel sometimes I'm like, oh fuck, I'm like this person who'll be bold and all. But like one day when I was doing a YouTube live, somebody's like, hey, I know where you live. You live opposite this guy's house. I used to come for tuitions there. So immediately my mind is like, oh fuck, some random person knows my mom's house, you know?
It's the same reason I don't want to put any of the wedding videos and shit online. Like I don't want them to know my family. Like
as little information as possible should be out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but like now I think my parents also on the same level of disdain for what's happening in the country because like I made them consciously switch to NDTV a few years ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, stop watching Z News, stop watching Aaj Tak, watch NDTV. I'll send them 60-second bites now, I think. I don't know. Because they send me news which is like, of course, forwarded many times. You see the logo and all that, right? But once this happened, like in the pandemic, we had a very clear discussion about like where the country is going and all. And I felt very happy because a sense of maturity, like while most parents and kids are struggling with each other because of the political belief system, I was able to get like my mom and dad to agree that if tomorrow something happens where they turn on us, because they will. We are Roman Catholics, right? We are like the next best thing for them to go after. And when we hear like churches being attacked on Christmas night, you know,
they'll be like Rome, Italy, hey, Sonia.
Jesus ka sir tod diya. Exactly, they find a connection वहाँ पर also. You know, like so many times, man, like randomly in my DMs, your mother Mary was a whore. Like just random, out of nowhere. I have not said anything to your mother or whatever, dude. Like why are you going out of me? In fact, in my DMs on Instagram, and I'm just like, if you watch my videos, I'm pretty much like everybody's fuck all. My whole point has always been कि सबका मालिक fake. as a joke about it. You know, सबका मालिक एक नहीं, सबका मालिक fake. That's what I go around. But like then targeting is not sensible, right? So sometimes they'll be like, thankfully on YouTube, they'll be like, oh, Christian will be like, why are you talking about our religion? We're already suffering. But then somebody will be like, but it's also making jokes about others also, so it's fine. I don't know where it ends.
That used to be a defense, right?
It
like
is
that I make
easier
fun of.
to get Catholic parents to turn. No? Hindu parents are gone.
Very difficult. Did I ever tell you the fruit sugar story?
No.
This is my problem with all parents in India. Okay. So
you told me about this.
Did we do it on the podcast? I don't think we did it on the podcast.
No, you told me in person.
Shubho and I were having dinner with my parents this one time. Okay, this is before we were married and all. Okay, I mean, having food and all. And my dad is like, "Hey, you want some mangoes?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want mangoes at night because I can't work through that sugar at night." Like, I'm just like, no. My dad is like, "Arey, it's fruit sugar." I'm like, "Yes, it is fruit sugar." And he's like, "No, it's fruit sugar. You won't get fat. if it's fruit sugar.
हाँ.
I'm like, no, that's not a thing anymore. Like, you know, they've debunked that. Like, sugar
Yeah.
is sugar. रात को जो भी है complex carbs खाना चाहिए, पर अगर fruit sugar भी मतलब fructose है, ये वो है, मैं पूरा समझाया. Like, नहीं. And I'm like, नहीं, मतलब है, लिखा है, ये है, fact है. Okay, we don't believe in all this. तू खा mango. And I'm like, so that's what it boils down to.
Like we went to the university. Which university? University of WhatsApp. Got a degree from there. It's like...
Man, there's this one interview I was seeing of Ravish where somebody asked him, what if they ban NDTV, what will you do? And he's just like, तो क्या है, रास्ते पे खड़ा रह के न्यूज़ बोलेगा, बाथरूम में गाता है वैसे न्यूज़ बोलेगा, क्या फर्क पड़ता है मेरे को?
That guy is like...
But I think the minute the Adani thing happened, I'm sure Faye D'Souza called this one and said, hey, सुन ना, कुछ करते हैं ना YouTube collab.
अपने पब्लिक के लिए, अपने पाशा लोग के लिए मैं फॉर्मेट लाती तो न्यूज़ ला बॉम्बे पच्चन में.
Imagine Ravish saying बहुत hard, dude.
Yeah.
Hard.
बेहद ही कठिन. He would say that. I love Ravish, man. Like last one standing, man.
Last one standing for sure.
Yeah.
And everyone else, I think they're doing it, but they're not good at it. You know, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of other like news people who are there and all.
No shade to news laundry.
No shade. Like, and even Deshbhakt, like they're doing decent stuff.
Yeah.
But like, you know, like
it's not getting there.
It's not getting there.
He was an RJ, no? So once an RJ, always an RJ.
Oh, Aakash was an RJ?
Yeah.
Oh, that explains a lot.
Yeah, nothing like John Oliver here, which really like fucking shakes them up.
You can't do John Oliver here, boss.
Yeah, you can try, but you can't.
I've been part of so many writing rooms where they've hired us to write a show which is like a John Oliver in India. And trust me, like it takes 3 days before the network is like, अच्छा सुनो ना, अपन है ना एक comedy circus type बना देते इसको. So there's no scope.
Yeah, I was working with a major network where they were looking for someone Muslim. And we looked for someone Muslim, we found someone Muslim, and then they were like, we can't mention he's Muslim.
Can't mention.
Within a year's time, everything changed.
Wow.
So yeah.
I was saying Cyrus ka TV show is the closest thing we got to
Cyrus
a late
TV
night.
show.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And he only gets by because he's below the radar.
Yeah.
And because he's English largely.
That I think has a lot to do with it.
Because they do a lot of not out there, but like stuff that other people wouldn't touch.
Yeah, like they're still mimicking like personalities and all.
Yeah,
So
political
this happens to me a lot, right? Where like, I don't know if you... I have felt this, where people in the comedy community consider me more of a righty comic. Okay.
Righty.
No, like a right wing, closer to right wing.
The right
comic.
swipe you.
So what happens, and I kind of, you know those posts like, celebrate the comedians who do not offend our religion. You know, and
उसमें तेरा आता है
उसमें
क्या?
मेरे को पोस्ट टैग बहुत करते हैं लोग ये तो सुसु का बात करता है इसमें क्या प्रॉब्लम है, like, you know what I mean? And then what will happen is eventually some circuit, all these conversations are going on all these right wing circles where this must come up, one of my videos, some line I've said somewhere will come up, and then I'll get these messages from kids who are heartbroken, who are like, I'm so sad today that I found out that you are like this. I thought you were like us, but you are actually a minority favoring whatever gang member, whatever that what the fuck the term is.
Tukde gang, yeah.
Ki you are one of them, you know. And I'm like, bro, you know, like, susu ka joke hai, bro. Like, chill na. Like, tere ko kya tension hai? It's very sad, dude. Because I don't want to break someone's heart. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want somebody to feel like, oh, my hero has let me down. Firstly, I don't think I should be anyone's hero.
Yeah, no, this happened recently when I was like on a Delhi recce, okay, and I'm like normally going about my life, and around this time, like the whole breaking of the slums was happening, right?
Yeah.
Like in Delhi, the whole part
JCB
where
scenes,
JCB scene हो गया, Navika Kumar is celebrating them, like yo कमी तो नहीं पड़ गई practice की.
Rule of law नहीं है अपने देश में. Woohoo!
Horrible person. She's like devil, right? Spawn, like I've never seen a
Anjana
more.
sat in the bulldozer.
Of course she did. Yeah, of course she did. Yeah.
Of course she did.
Like she is the contractor.
She had to check if the chip was there or not.
Yeah, if it's working properly, if they're breaking it down, fine. And when all of this was happening, like there was one person who's always been a fan of mine, but like I shared like some meme or something around that thing where like Delhi police when someone says something about whatever, they activate, and when a entire society is being brought down, people are broken, they're chilling, drinking chai or whatever, something like that. and this guy just went off on me, dude, like
Yeah.
fully abusive. Okay, good way, Madashod, rice bag, same, hota nahi hai, that's like one of the checklists. Like every bad word he could imagine, and I'm like, okay, what happened when you're following me? Like, what is this? And it's been like, I go back in the chat history, it's been like laugh reacting to multiple stuffs. Okay,
Yeah.
if I posted like funny Jesus meme, they've laughed. Okay, whatever. If that's done, so I understood what he's coming from. It's like you
This
don't say
was
anything
his
about
what-
Hindu. You can't say anything about Hindu, but like make fun of your thing as much as you want. The moment you say something against me, I'll lose my shit. Okay.
Yeah.
And then he's like, to think I came to your shows and I paid you money also, and I'm like, thanks for the money, I guess. Mera to ho gaya. But I do not know. Like I've never gotten so much hate from somebody who, as you said, was somebody who was like nicely enjoying my work, and it suddenly turned on me.
Yeah. But basis just like
A meme.
Yeah.
No, that was his Watergate movement. He flipped.
Yeah, and
Everybody
I'm
has a
like,
threshold.
I'm not that person, right? Like sometimes I'll say like radical things, but if you chill with me in real life, I'm very like this person
वो
who's.
तो उनको समझता
उनको
नहीं है.
समझ नहीं, like,
Not
they're
in
like
this
कि-
lifetime
Yeah.
they'll not get it. But
Yeah.
a lot of people have flipped on my timeline after the Nupur Sharma incident.
Yeah.
Acha.
So that for them was like, नहीं अभी liberal नहीं. So
थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो गया.
because some of them have been following you for years, so you may not remember their name or something, but there's a familiarity. हाँ ये दिखता है, ये
yeah.
नाम या ये DP whatever.
Yeah,
no?
yeah.
So and you can see suddenly it has flipped. And
Yeah.
now वो and पूरा vocabulary download किया. ऐसा भी नहीं है
Yeah.
कि he's flipping in front of you. He's
Yeah.
flipped overnight. तो
ये-
now Liberando
हाँ.
चालू हो गया वो सब.
इसमें एक बहुत फनी चीज हुआ था मेरे साथ. Like where I think I have a 8 out of 10 hit ratio with this. Whenever this kind of conversation starts, I'll like turn the conversation and be like, but don't you think sub politician mother chod hai? And then the guy eventually will be like, है ठीक है सब. So I'm like, then we're
लेकिन
on the
ये
same
No,
page.
at least हमारा वाला हिंदू है. That is the final nail in the coffin.
मैं आज आते वक्त ही रास्ते में सोच रहा था, मैं वो बीजेपी का कुछ तो बीजेपी का नहीं सॉरी शिवसेना का कोई बोर्ड लगा था उधर योद्धा
हाँ.
और फिर उद्धव ठाकरे का फोटो था. तो आई वाज जस्ट लाइक वाओ लाइक यू नो फन ये लोग भी अपना लगा रहे क्योंकि वो एकनाथ शिंदे के सब लग गए ना
हाँ,
ऑलरेडी.
इसका चालू हो गया.
It's an arms race.
It's like a very bad Fair and Lovely ad, right? All these posters with like Eknath Shinde, then उसके ऊपर कौन है और उसके ऊपर कौन है,
हाँ.
and eventually Modi ji है.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if there's a Fair and Lovely ad, it's a very bad transition to look like that person.
So I
It's a bad
realized-
Faces of the Moon.
But effectively I realize we live in a country where even when you vote you don't know, you know what I mean, like you could vote for a party, they might be in majority but you don't know अगर government उनका बनने वाला है कि नहीं. You know what I mean, like
Yeah.
the political class in this country is like तुम लोग अपना खेलो, तुम लोग को जिसको वोट देना है दे दो, फिर हम लोग अपना बाद में 5 star में जाके कर लेंगे हम.
Yeah.
Dream 11.
Such a nice like medieval feel to it. I like
Yeah,
it. Like it's like the unsurety of Game of Thrones, but in real life. You know, कि कौन होगा हमारा ruler, कौन हमारे पे अत्याचार करेगा. I can't wait to find out.
The
किसका dragon मारेगा मेरे को. All of that.
The argument for the Bilkis Bano case which has reached my house is that yes, they raped her. Yes, they ripped out her unborn child. Yes, they killed 7 of her family members. But what about Godra? No. ऐसा what about करेगा तो there is no end to it.
Whataboutery is the worst argument ना. फिर तो मतलब और पर and I realize कि like I also do the whataboutery but not on this level. Like I'll do it at home. In the sense कि like my mom and I will have some argument and I will do like what about that time when you said that thing, you know what I mean. And while I'm saying that only I realize it's such an emotional stupid argument that I would never make it at a higher level.
Yeah. Where were you during the Gulf War? I got born.
This had happened to me, dude. Like I think a year and a half ago somebody DM'd me and said कि but what did you do when the Muslims took over India? And I was like पता नहीं bro, like मैं
Oh,
तो
16th
था.
century में.
I was like मैं तभी भी jokes लिख रहा था बेंचो.
Yeah. I was Birbal.
Yeah, what's the deal with this whole Akbar man? What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
I thought Akbar Ali is only good for furniture, man.
Yeah, why do you need a newspaper? Akbar, whatever. Just riffing on that.
We would not be very successful as comedians. We're not denying that. In the 1600s.
In the 1600s, yeah. I would probably be a concubine.
Oh, motherfucker.
Like I would pleasure him in some ways.
Yeah.
Raja ki maja. Shit.
Concubine.
Do you
That's a
know-
word you don't hear very often.
Yeah, I like this word.
It's a nice
Concubine.
word.
Indian kings had concubines.
They did. They
Yeah.
did. They had harems.
They
as
were
well.
cucks also sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know
There's an
this.
entire story about the cuck king and all that.
The Cuck King.
Yeah. Cuckolded king. Yeah.
I think it's the Kaching. Not the Cuck King.
The kach. It's all about the Ka-king. In about, anyways.
Do you feel like this? Okay, because I know that around Independence Day is when all of us. I to get very senti. I still get very senti around Independence Day.
Why?
Because I feel like this is a great experiment that we all tried to do, and wherever it goes, it still survived, and that's a big deal.
Yeah, I feel to like I love this country. Like,
Yeah.
the more I travel, the long length and breadth of it,
Yep.
meet
It's a-
people. Like people are never the problem. It's just like the ones controlling us, of course.
So
It's
like,
the media, it's the fucking
Yeah.
capitalism, everything. But like people are people, man.
Yeah.
Like everybody, like I remember this one thing. I don't know if I've shared this on the show before, but like one of my favorite experiences was going to a bumfuck mall in Goa. Okay, and there's this very like fully saffron colored man sitting doing palm readings and everything. And we had an entire discussion about gay marriage and stuff like that. And he was pretty pro on that side. So sometimes people can blow you. The cover doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just that it's become like lines are drawn.
yeah,
Did you say people can blow you?
like blow you away.
Blow you away.
Ah,
They blow you also. You never know.
You never know.
Ask him.
Yeah. But I just generally feel ki like I fucking love this country, dude. And then like every year at Independence Day, it just sort of all comes together. Ki like fuck, what happened? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what happened? And then you realize ki it was never great. You just thought it was great.
I
You know
don't
what
say
mean?
what happened normally anymore because there's this parrot. There's a blue parrot on Instagram or YouTube. Check it out. He talks. Okay, the parrot talks, and he says, "What happened?" So I don't say what happened like a normal person anymore. I say, you be a good baby. You want treat. That's how we should talk to our people now.
Even for the museums thing we were discussing earlier, I think the answer that Manu Joseph has is the best. He says, don't ask why there are potholes. Ask why there are any roads at all in this country.
Manu Joseph asking the right questions.
Itna bhi kaise hai? They can get away with anything.
Yeah, ask how you can win Olympics to get your road fixed.
No, but I think there's a very straightforward answer to why we have roads, why we have basic infrastructure. It's because you need to get to the Sansad to rape the country of all its wealth.
Yeah.
Right? You have to get to the parliament. If you can't get to the parliament, how will you
So
enact
they say the
draconian laws?
dictatorship, there are only two roads. One from the refinery to the palace.
Yes.
And palace to the airport.
Airport, yeah. That's the only roads you
Yeah.
really need.
Yeah.
And that's the
It's
only
a
roads we have.
conveyor belt of
Yeah.
labor class. This fucking fucked all.
All the other roads exist so that these roads don't get too clogged when they need to come in. Like I was just thinking this today. Like I was driving and there was some political guy ka गाड़ी going in front of me. A member of parliament का स्टिकर लगेला था पीछे और उसमें मराठी का नंबर प्लेट था. तो मैं बोला चलो सही है. तो ये अनटचेबल गाड़ी है.
Personalized, yeah.
इसको कुछ भी नहीं कर. इसको कोई क्या बोलेगा?
Bulletproof.
Yeah.
Right. And I just
इसका
started thinking.
horsepower अलग है.
Like at some point, right? Like at some point, a country of 1 billion people where 20,000 rupees a month puts you in the top 2% of
Yeah.
fucking money
Yeah.
makers.
Yeah.
At no point did the entire country go, ये मदरचोद के बाद 2 Mercedes कैसे? You know what I mean? एक भी नहीं, 2 Mercedes कैसे हो सकता है यार इसके पास? Like कुछ तो, like there has to be some math to this, right? We've all very much made peace with the fact that there is a political ruling class. वो लोग करेंगे और हम लोग को झूंझना है.
Yeah. When my family's most common go-to line is like people like us will never go ahead.
Same, my mom also does that. My
Yeah.
mom is also like, people like us are not meant to reach a certain level in this country because
I think what she actually means, or your mom also means, is that that level of like conniving,
Yes.
the level of debauchery you have to like overcome to get to
You
that
have
level
to
and
be
make
a
peace with yourself.
psychopath. That is
Yeah.
the bottleneck.
Exactly. Right? You have to be so fucked up in your mind
Because
that it's like I have
his
to,
mom is already somebody. So imagine if she
yeah,
says that.
exactly. Yeah.
But that's what like the one point where I told my mom ki like where I think she realized that this government didn't do everything she wanted to do was I was like, okay, what were your pain points with the last government? Did they get solved? Right? Like, is tax terrorism less? Is over क्या बोलते हैं उसको over regulation has it reduced? You know what I mean? All of these are basic factors that are economic and there are very provable factors. They are devoid of emotion. Forget religion for a second.
Yeah.
Just look at these aspects. Have they improved? And the answer is no, right? So that's when I saw that flip in her head where she was like, oh shit, like, oh yeah, नहीं ये तो सब सुधरा ही नहीं है. क्या कर सकते हैं इसका हम लोग?
I went to Mahabalipuram, which is outside Chennai, where he met the Chinese president. So which was great because it put that place on the map. And it has one of the oldest temples in the country, but nobody knew about it. Now it's full tourist hub. So there are two roads that go there parallel, great roads, like coast पे एक road and एक road थोड़ा अंदर है. So half of this road is good and half of the other road is good because that's the route the cavalcade took. और उसको अभी 3-4 साल हो गया, बाकी का बनाया ही नहीं रास्ता. So everybody goes that way.
But this happened in Bangalore also, right? Like Bangalore mein PM had come, फिर 2 दिन बाद रास्ता खलास. Like he went and the rasta also went with him.
9/11 से रास्ता लिया था. 7/11 से लिया था रास्ता.
9/11 से.
Yeah, these potholes are so bonkers outside right now.
Oh, they're pretty bad. But like when we were going to, this is another fun fact, right? Number of cross SUVs, like those, like I also have that chota SUV only. Technically, it's an SUV, but it's not really an SUV. But
I still don't know what SUV stands for.
Sports utility vehicle.
Okay.
So
big car, bada car.
MUV is multi utility vehicle.
I know there's a sedan and then there's a
sedan, MUV, SUV.
There's a convertible.
वो बीच में पड़ता है.
अच्छा.
So convertible, anything can be a convertible, including a Jeep.
Yeah.
So the sales
or Catholics.
The sales the sales of this, right, like have changed so much that in India, like more and more people are buying compact SUVs because the roads are so bad. So I was just like observed this and I was telling my dad, because I was looking at sales numbers like just one day randomly कि कौन सा गाड़ी बिक रहा है, कैसा गाड़ी बिक रहा है, and I showed this to my dad. And my dad was like, बैठ तेरे को दिखाता है मैं तेरे को. And then he took me back in history and he was like, पहले ना चेतक स्कूटर था, okay, और जब चेतक था ना तभी क्या था, चेतक का ग्राउंड क्लियरेंस कम था, फिर बाइक आया. And as soon as bikes came, everyone completely abandoned the scooter and went for the bike. Why? Greater ground clearance, bigger wheels, roads है नहीं, तो कौन सा गाड़ी जाने का ज्यादा चांस है, चेतक या बाइक? Bike. That's why the Hero Honda Splendor is the largest selling two-wheeler motorbike on the fucking planet today. So, and it's not just in India, it's everywhere in the world where there is not enough infrastructure. These bikes sell well.
Yeah. Like even when we were in Bangalore, like there's still no roads like to get to the main house, right? You have a main road and then uske baad tum apna dekh lo types. So these are like slopes and fucking rickety stones falling all over. But this Hero Honda bike just like cruise through. Somehow they make it. Scooter nahi ja raha upar, moped is not going upar, rickshaws are struggling. But these will like aram se go.
It's like when you go to Shillong. In Shillong, everyone has a Maruti 800 that's modified as fuck because the roads are so narrow that even if you have a bigger car can't access 90% of the roads in Shillong.
But that's true for most of the hilly areas. Alto, Maruti.
Alto, abhi aaya na unka naya Espresso. Espresso is literally
a good car, dude.
It's a great car, dude. If you've never driven one, go test drive a Espresso. It's no pressure. They will also not follow up to buy it because they know you won't.
You can take it from the showroom and drive to Shillong and they'll be like all good.
It has higher clearance also, good leg space.
But that's what it's a micro SUV. It's designed as an SUV.
It's a micro SUV.
Yeah, that's what the.
Not a mini SUV.
No.
So you can't play big sports.
Seltos is a mini SUV.
You can only play chess in that.
But it just goes to show, man, that so many things impact. But what I was trying to say earlier was with the Independence Day this year, they also, I was also getting married on Independence Day. So I didn't get to really see all the nice lighting and all that they did. But the night before, I had just gone for a quick drive and I had seen ceiling pura, ye ho gaya hai. All the buildings in South Bombay were nicely lit. All the roads had that. And that was great. Right? Like, I was so happy that this happened. Like, everyone is like shitting on this Har Ghar Tiranga wala
but if
thing.
it had happened more out of violation, it would have been great to see. I sensed the fear of like, oh shit, nahi dalenge to koi gun marega.
But that's what I was just getting at.
Yeah.
Ki it's like I was talking to my uncle at my wedding. My uncle is a Congress guy. Okay, he had worked with the Ministry of Highways. I have a lot of fights with him because I'm like Nitin Gadkari, best highway minister that we've ever had, versus your guy who was quite shit.
Who was that guy?
So we were just discussing this and I was like, देखे कि नहीं झंडे हर घर पे? And he was like, हाँ देखे. And I was like, अच्छा तो लग रहा है ना? Like you have to admit it feels nice to have so much like full nationalistic like nice vibes and all. He's like, yeah, अच्छा तो लग रहा है. Then I leaned in and I was like, झंडा लगाया कि नहीं? And he just like paused and I said, सुनो, लगाना है? अगले साल से राशन इसी के बल पे मिलने वाला है. So I genuinely felt like it was like Moses, like like God telling Moses कि mark the doors of the Jew children.
Yeah.
So that their firstborns don't get killed.
Yeah, with the spirit of God coming down. But and here's the thing, right? Like it's like this is on a national level TikTok challenge that everybody else is doing. It's like if you don't do it, we're not part of it.
Yeah.
And I remember I was in Karnataka when traveling around when they came to our house and Abhi, my partner's home, okay, and we are the kind of gays who have a rainbow flag outside our door, just like this is a safe space, no hate, whatever. And because of us, more queer people have moved into the building also. So it's like generally it's like a
chill.
fairly, it's a DBA
And
society.
your building doesn't give a shit.
Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
But that day, even we were like, "Yo, fuck, what happened?" Like this ultra nationalism kahan se aaya? Because they're going door to door and giving one
Yeah.
flag, right? And they're also like keeping a time apparently, ki kisne dala and all that.
Acha?
And my whole fear was like, I have to get home before that, because then what if they attack the pride flag? Which then I'm like, fucking nails out, fucking let's fucking fight.
Huh.
Because I'm that person. Because for me it matters.
Yeah.
That pride flag matters. And I'm not saying the country doesn't matter, but it came from a matter of pride, right? Like the reason I had it is because all my life I was shunned. And the country has not been so far, because I love my country, and it's never been a point of like, oh, but if I go out of the country, I will put the flag. That's the whole point of it. Nationalism. And
this is like the national anthem in the cinemas now being imposed on everybody.
Exactly, right? So I was just like constantly like, oh, Annabi's alone at home, and my fucking fear was just that. But then thankfully nothing happened. Even on the day of the Independence Day, like they start 8 a.m, they start with the Mere Desh Ki Dharti, and then Yaad Karo Qurbani, all of that. And then after some time, Dilbar, whatever starts playing, and I'm like, okay, now they're in their own thing. Some kid has got their jack in the phone, and now they're doing their thing.
There was a thing in my building on the 15th of August in the morning where it started off with the flag hoisting. Then they sang the national anthem, which was very cool. Like I was like, yeah. And I couldn't I was getting ready and all of that jazz. I couldn't go down. But like national anthem नीचे गा रहे थे, तो घर में सब लोग ऐसा 1 second के लिए स्थिर हो गए. हाँ कि चलो खत्म हो जाने दो. We all stood. And then later on, this uncle went on to give a speech. Okay. And secretary, yes. Just the oldest Marwadi dude in the building who was to talk.
Yeah.
And he just started talking, and I was transfixed because he took about 35 seconds to talk about India.
Then Modi ji.
Then it went everywhere, dude. Then it was like हम चांद पे जाएंगे और हमारे देश at the same time, like it's like we are so progressive, we are going to be on the moon in 5 years, but we are घर पे खतरा तो हमारे घर पे है. And all of that he's saying, like, you know what I mean?
He's a WhatsApp forward talking on the mic.
Hyperbole, but like that.
Yeah. So it's like, we'll go to the moon, but there are people in this country who do not want us to go to the moon.
Yeah.
There are people in this country who do not want every child to be educated.
We all will climb Everest, but the ice is against us.
Yeah. So like, I was just like,
इधर what क्या बोला मारो लोगों को ऐसे बोला उसने क्या बोला
मारो नहीं बोला, but उसने ये बहुत ऐसा clearly बोला कि bro like एक एलिमेंट है अपने देश में जिसको नहीं चाहिए कि अपना देश आगे बढ़े. हाँ, एक एलिमेंट है. तो वो एलिमेंट को हमें अंदर से और बाहर से रोकना होगा.
The fifth element, Bruce Willis वाला movie. उसको eradicate करो.
Who was that actress? She was so pretty.
Mila Jovovich.
क्या हो गया उसको फिर?
She was in the Resident Evil series.
Oh yeah.
She was. I think Mila Jovovich.
Pink hair, even I would look good in pink hair.
In pink hair, yeah. She had orange hair. Correction. Yeah.
Oh, good fun. Many childhood memories attached to Resident Evil ki hot ladki.
Yeah. That was like Resident Evil movies were the first ones where like when you got phones, people were circulating the like that you want to see gory people like death and all that. Final Destination movies and Resident Evil and Wrong Turn 1 and 2.
Yeah.
They're like when
Final Destination really fucked up my life. Like,
driving in general.
Even today, like even if I'm driving on the highway, there's something ahead of me. I'm thinking Final Destination.
Oh fuck! That lift scene also, like that where the lift opens, the guy tries to crawl out and then the lift starts, and then his body's here and his legs are there.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's
I'll never crawl out of a non-working lift.
That's on him though.
That's on him also.
That's on him.
But death had him marked, man. How could he escape?
That's fair.
That's a personality.
That's fair. In a few years, we'll be saying that for each other.
You've been marked.
Yeah.
I was baptized, but you've been marked.
Yeah.
The biggest rice bag in the world is Santa Claus, if you think about it.
And he eats cookies.
Yeah.
Cookies and milk पे survive करता है. बोल.
अभी नहीं बोल सकते. कांदिवली में एक बॉयज यूज्ड टू से इन स्कूल पता है सेंटा क्लॉज हाउस से रात ना आणि मोजा मा गिफ्ट मुके
Dude, at least they call Santa Claus in Kandivali. In Bhayandar is Jingle Bell.
Yeah.
वो लोग गाने के 2 words क्या ही गए नहीं वो लोग. Jingle Bell, Jingle Bell, Jingle all the way.
4 हो गया ना.
हाँ, Santa Claus is coming to town. Dude, Jingle Bell is...
He didn't reach Bhayandar.
Yeah. Jingle Bell is the Xerox of the Christmas world.
And my mom would take tuition, so one of the kids couldn't say bells, he would say Ben. So it would be Jingle Ben. And I'm like, that's a gay character right there. This guy was Ben and he just fucking...
I thought it's a lady with chunri or something, like Jingle Ben.
Yeah. Jingle Wingle Mala Baga.
But it's true, right? That
Jingle Wingle,
Santa Claus is not part of the religion.
No, that's Coca-Cola.
Coke ad campaign.
Yeah,
no, it's actually like Santa Claus is based on multiple pagan traditions.
Pagan traditions.
And that's one, it's a culmination of one of those. The bad thing about that guy was like it's actually a reference in The Office when Dwight does this thing. It's a German.
Yeah, it's a German this thing.
Yeah, Scandinavian German tradition that was like if the kids were bad, he would beat them with a jhadu.
Yeah.
But they kind of like soft
and
launched it.
If you go to I think Finland or Sweden or one of those Nordic countries only, they still have blackface.
Yeah.
They have Santa's helper is like a black guy. Okay, so they do the big lips and the black face, and then they defend it, saying ki how can we let it go? It's our culture
It's a culture, yeah.
to do blackface.
But it's a pagan tradition.
It's
there.
But this is a standard thing. Okay, like
Pagan ho gaye ho tum.
what Christians do. What Christians did rather over history was that wherever they went, they would assimilate that place, so there would be easier transition.
Christmas is not 25th December.
It's not.
Jesus was not born December. It's just like one of those things that happened. They were celebrating as a part of their thing, and they're like, okay, what about our God also kind of became a part of your thing?
Like April Fool's Day, for example. April Fool's Day was the pagan New Year. Like that's the harvest festival. That's like when the spring changes, the season changes, it's the New Year. So they were like, this must be a Fool's Day. You would have to be foolish to celebrate your New Year on this day when we all know that it's on that other day. That's how it started. So it's similarly, if you notice, it happens in most places.
But then one cross assimilation is the Valentine's Day thing, which is Saint Valentine's death day or birthday, something like that. And he was the patron saint of love. That's why Valentine's Day became.
He was not. Saint Valentine was the patron saint of couples that wanted to get married but could not. So he would marry them off and send them away. The patron saint of love is Saint Raphael.
Oh.
Yeah, I know this. Yeah, because Raphael only taught me this.
There's no Saint Navin, sadly. I'll be the patron saint of pagan people.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. Anyway, thanks for coming, Punit. I think this chat was very casual and very quick and
it's how it's always is.
True to Varta Lab fashion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure the fans will have things to say.
And we'll see you on Cyrus.
Yeah, but just as a closing disclaimer, like everything is cool. We're not like haters. We've already established we love the country. And
we love this country.
The people who are trying to break all things apart, we are fighting those systems and nothing else.
ये हर बार बोलना पड़ेगा.
And stop calling me Gudwa on Instagram. I'll find you.
You can call me.
I'll find you and then I'll fuck your dad, okay? And that isn't easy. Next morning, then at breakfast table, I'm your mom. It's not cute. So let's not do that.
अपनी माँ पे मत जा. Future माँ पे.
बाप पे जाएगा. चलो bye.